Welcome back to our 2008 election coverage. Good evening. I'm Angie Bruss.
And I'm Dave Morris. Our team at the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com will be bringing you the latest election news through our website, through blogs, live chats, online articles, and video updates.
Together we are following several storylines. Tonight is a historic event here in Oklahoma, not just because of voter turnout, but there's a chance we could have a fully Republican legislature by the end of the evening. It would be the first time in our state's history.
We want to know what voters say about the presidential race, which candidate will claim Oklahoma. We're also keeping a close watch on the races for the U.S. Senate, Congress, and Corporation Commission.
But first, let's check in with the Oklahoman's Carrie Coppernall, who is at the Republican watch party at the Marriott Hotel here in the Metro. Carrie, how's it looking out there? Are you surprised? I've heard there's lots of diversity, even kids at the watch parties.
We have seen a ton of kids out here at the Marriott Hotel on Northwest Expressway. We've got lots of families, lots of young people. We've got lots of older people. I mean, you've got all ages, and there are actually quite a few people here who aren't even old enough to vote, but they're out here having a good time.
That's great. That's great. Now, who have you talked to?
I've met with the Batts family from Oklahoma City. They're John and Candy Batts, and they brought their 4 boys. They've spent the weekends campaigning for McCain and local candidates, and they wanted to bring their boys out. And I met with Heather McLean of Mustang, and she made her very own John McCain T-shirt, you know, in honor of his service, because her husband is in the military also. So lots of different ages, lots of different kinds of folks out here. Sounds great.
Sounds like a great party. Now, are they excited when McCain sounds like he won Oklahoma?
Oh, yeah, there was a big cheer for that, and there have been big cheers every time that his name comes on the board, but there's a lot of buzz about local elections, county commissioner elections, all the state house, and people are talking about local stuff. I mean, it's just a buzz. People are moving and shaking down here.
Great. Carrie, keep up the good work. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Carrie, thank you. It's been a tight race for many candidates, and here in Oklahoma, voters have been watching the heated election for the Corporation Commission. Both candidates were in the Opopco studios last week, and we wanted to know what they thought were the biggest issues this year.
One of the things I've known from the beginning is that few Oklahomans know much about what we do. It's been my hope, and what I've tried to do since June of 2007 to now, is to communicate with them, connect with them about what issues are important, let them know what we should be doing as Corporation Commissioners so that they have high expectations.
With energy costs and the economic situation that's happening today, I think it's really important in this race to make sure that we're focused on experienced, qualified people that we can trust going up to the Corporation Commission to look over utility rates and how oil and gas drilling is being done.
So there we had it. We heard from Dana Murphy and Jim Roth for Corporation Commissioner. I'm checking out NewsOK right now for the latest results on that. Currently, Jim Roth 51%, Dana Murphy 48%. That is only 211 of over 2,000 precincts reporting. So that's the position, but do you know what it means?
We took this question to the street to see if you knew what the Corporation Commissioner does.
What does the Corporation Commissioner do?
I'm not sure. I wish I knew a little. I wish I knew a little more. I know utilities and so forth, but
the who?
They regulate. I don't know if it's just energy companies. I know they have several companies, but
Corporation Commissioner do? That's a good question. I don't know.
I certainly don't know, but I want to know. Yes. I like to know, and I like to know if they're doing what's going to be best for Oklahoma.
He oversees the utility companies, and he ensures that the rates are fair, and he evaluates rate increases and votes on rate increases and tries to protect the public in respect to their interests with the utilities.
All right. Well, it looks like some people do know what the Corporation Commissioner does. Some people don't. They're still trying to figure it out, but we know they actually regulate oil and gas drilling, utilities, and telephone companies.
Some of the beauty of the election period is an education process as well. All right, Ed Kelly is back. He's the editor of the Oklahoman. He's standing by with Rinzai Stone, who, as you know, is the president and CEO of Saxum Communications, one of the city's premier public relations companies. Ed, over to you.
Thanks, Dave. Rinzai, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Your job allows you to be around a lot of Oklahoma's business and community leaders, not just in Oklahoma City, but throughout the state. What are they saying about 2009 and beyond, particularly about our local future?
Well, I think that you can't have any conversation with Oklahomans without talking about energy.
Okay.
And I think as we elect what likely will be a full Democratic majority, a supermajority in Congress and the Senate, with them pushing hard for those 60 votes tonight, and with a trend that looks very strongly as if Barack Obama will be president, how will they regulate in energy and overall business as a whole? So the leaders that I'm talking to, small business owners, want to know what health care looks like. Will they be mandated to provide health care insurance, which I think as a small business owner, all of us want to provide some sort of health care coverage. And in my case, I provide 75% for my employees plus 25% for their dependents. Right. Healthcare is a big issue. But really the energy and specifically windfall profit tax, which I think is less likely today than maybe it was 6 months ago when energy prices were so high. But how are we going to handle American energy? And in Oklahoma, we have so many areas we can grow into over time, but one that we're grown into fully today is the energy industry. We can be a leader in wind energy. We can be a leader in conversions to compressed natural gas. And I think as you look at this election for Oklahomans, and I think most energy companies will be happy to hear that Jim Inhofe is in good shape to return, especially with environmental committees that he serves on. But I think it's so important to most of these small business leaders, how does energy going to affect, so how does that trickle down to the rest of the economy?
Mm-hmm. So these business leaders do talk politics. Does it make any difference to them who is elected president?
I think that's an interesting question, because I don't think that there was a whole lot of difference in the energy policies of Barack Obama and John McCain. Okay. I really think that if you dig down, both of them were for regulating big oil and gas companies. Both of them were looking at this as an opportunity to find new revenues from oil and gas companies. So I think that most people are for John McCain in the state, obviously by our 60% margin of victory. But if you really peel back the layers, especially the energy guys, which is how this state goes, there really wasn't a whole lot of difference, and there will be major lobbying efforts by the energy industry to protect what we have in place today.
Okay, your job also allows you to travel to other communities outside of Oklahoma City and Tulsa. How do we stack up compared to some of these other communities, particularly with our local leadership?
Well, you know, as an Oklahoman, I'm a optimist, and I think that our leadership in Oklahoma and our can-do spirit of working together actually is, for the most part, a positive when stacked out compared to our neighbors. And I think all you have to do is look to the Thunder, our NBA team, to look at how we've worked together to see something come together like that. Procure, another example, is a client actually that we represent, but the Cancer Treatment Center going in North Oklahoma City. They're currently trying to locate one of those in Chicago, one in Detroit, and one in Florida. There's no place in America that has been more friendly and ready to bring in a new business with new jobs at the chamber level, at the county level, at the city level, at the state level than Oklahoma. I think it's bright, and I come out of this election with a real sense of hope. And I know that Barack Obama has run his campaign on change and hope, but I think as Americans, we did want change. And I think that as the election results come in throughout tonight, that change will come. Now, for some of us, in some areas, that's not the change we bargained for, but it does put an end nationally to the divisiveness potentially that we've experienced over the last 2 years during this very long election campaign. If we can get a person elected president, hopefully in our banking and credit markets, we'll have some confidence restored. The rest of the world will see that America has the direction they're going for the next 4 years. And in our local community, we can get back to our business, which is working hard at our schools and our businesses and improving our community. So I'm optimistic, and to answer your question, I think our leadership locally really is favorable compared to other communities. But I think you'll really see communities across America put aside some of the partisan flavor and really work towards working together in the next few years.
Okay, so how important is communication during tough economic times?
Well, communication, which is obviously what I specialize in, is crucial. And I think the key word is transparency and trust. Transparency in your communication. If you're working in your local community in a business, and if I'm working with one of my clients and I'm advising them on how to communicate to their different audiences, I have to convey to them that the most important attributes that they can have is how to be trustworthy, and how to be transparent. The world we live in, where we have News OK live on election night over the internet, and we have bloggers reporting on election parties by the minute, shows that you can't hide information from the public, but you can manage how you communicate it. And I think it's communications, and if anybody deserves credit in this election, it's Barack Obama for the excellent way he communicated to many audiences, some of them young people who had never been communicated to before. Communications is at a premium, and it'll just continue to expand.
Okay, finally, along that same line, how important is good leadership during tough economic times?
Well, leadership is the courage to do the right thing at the right time, right?
Sure.
And so I think it's yet to be seen what kind of leaders we're electing. That's something we'll have to take a look at. I think when you look at some of the great leaders throughout history, one of my favorite leaders, Winston Churchill, said that good and great are seldom the same man. And I think anybody who stands up and says, I want to run for public office is a good man or woman.
Sure.
But it's yet to be seen if any of them will be great. I think that's what we have to tune in for tomorrow and in the coming weeks and months. How great are these people that we've elected? We certainly have positioned them, and they've positioned themselves to be great. It's yet to be seen.
Rinzai Stone, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Angie, back to you.
Thank you, Ed, and thank you, Rinzai, for joining us. The presidential election has been center stage for nearly 2 years as politicians announced they would run for the White House. After months of campaigns, commercials, and debates, we wanted to know what you thought about this year's election.
What's your feeling about the election? Are you ready? Are you excited? Or are you like, okay, enough?
I'm so excited because this is like, what is the word I want to say? This is history. A history being made. It's history being made, you know, go back to say, you know, a long time ago, black people couldn't vote. Now we have a black man that's running for president. So, you know, it's an awesome thing. It's just awesome to be a part of history.
I'm excited, but I'm tired of all the advertisements. I'm sick and tired of hearing about it. They started it way too early, it feels like. But other than that, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
I'm excited. Yeah? Yes, I'm very excited.
I am excited about it. I think everybody should be excited about it. It's a chance to exercise our rights.
I have an 18-year-old that was his first time to vote, and he went out and he was so excited. So, you know, it's just wonderful to be a part of this, to be a part of history. Definitely. So I'm just really excited.
All right, it looks like a lot of people are excited about this year's election. It definitely is historical. Some people are ready for it to be done, though.
Absolutely. We heard from Carrie Coppenall earlier. She was over at the Marriott, the Republican Convention, or the Republican Watch Party. Ken Raymond is at the Scriven Hotel in downtown Oklahoma City at the Democratic Watch Party. He just had an interview with former Governor David Walters. We'll have that for you at 9 o'clock. Thanks again to Rinzai Stone from Saxon Communications for coming in. He mentioned Jim Inhofe in that race. The Associated Press is projecting Jim Inhofe as the winner in his re-election bid for the U.S. Senate.
We'll see you at 9.